that man, leave him. He don't know anything what they do.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what he's doing, forget him. But when you are now a good shoemaker, you begin to export.
Yeah.
You become everybody's darling. And people want to emulate you.
Yeah.
So, I tell you something, it's good to be ambitious, but it's not good to be over-ambitious.
Wow.
Because when you're over-ambitious, you might do that one that might land you in jail so quickly.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So,
that will be the end of you.
Then that will be the end of you. So, it's one step at a time, Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker says, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step.
Yeah.
But you know what? That step does not guarantee you are going to reach to that destination.
Yeah.
Continuous working will ensure you get to that stage. So, I think that as we grow older, we must encourage our young people, reorientate their values, reset their value set, their value systems.
Yes.
So that they see
the value belief system.
The value belief system, so that they begin to see that there's dignity in labor. A good number of us don't believe anymore in dignity in labor. All right, they just want to. Maybe people trying to, leave the country, either they're crossing one blue ocean, or crossing one dry desert to get to the so-called promised land. Who says it's a promised land? So our leaders, again, need to make our environment very conducive for our young ones. Yeah. So what we advocate for is that this affirmative action needs to be legislated and gazetted and endorsed. As a matter of fact, the African Union, when we met with them, endorsed it, and what they needed was to just meet with the various legislative assemblies across the 54 African nations and see how they can buy into this thing and adopt an internal return initiative. And Baywood Foundation, in partnership with African Union, have promised to put the initial seed money to do such initiatives and kickstart it. And one other way to stimulate the youth, I said, is to have an endowment fund or prize money or prize award for youths across Africa that have achieved in various spheres of life. Because these guys have achieved. Have you identified them? Because when you begin to reward these young ones, and appreciate them and consider them as part of the main society. Because what is happening today, like if you would see what is going on in Nigeria today, there's almost a youth revolution because they are tired, okay? Because they're not part of the system. They're not meant to be part of the system. These guys have emasculated them from the system. They are taking hold of everything. If you look at throughout the length and breadth of Africa, look at our presidents. They are all in their 80s, okay? Are they more smarter now? No. Are they in tune with the technology? No. Are they thinking about how to move the country, the nation forward or the continent forward? No. Can they be more radical? No. Because we need radicalism in a bit of things we do to change, to reset the continent, okay? I was listening to a program where some young lads in Europe were pushing for Macron to stop the ECOP project in Uganda. What did they know about Africa? So if we have a very united, formidable African Union that can come up with a very big voice and say, listen, can you even keep your money? We don't need your money. Yeah. We donate funds and have a pool of funds where we can tap into to develop our natural resources. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. So Intern and Return Initiative for African youth is what Baywood Foundation is still advocating, because that's the only way we can put Africa and make them to be a continent to be sought after. We have the smart youths, we have very intelligent youths, we have youth tech savvy. If you come to Nigeria today, one of the things that is raving is tech startups. These tech startups are young ones. 20, 25, 30, coming out with different, genuine ideas. What they need is a little pep, and that's what you call this little pep, like what we did in the program with Coca-Cola. The first time that Baywood Foundation ever got grant was Coca-Cola giving us $100,000 to do a program we call Youth ICT and Skill Acquisition Project, YISAP. You can go to our website, Baywood Foundation, and find YISAP, YISAP. What we do was to gather youths from all parts of the state and train them in different skills. Okay? We have certain set skills we train them in those skills, and give them, and then on the final day, they exhibited their skills. They produced those things that they did, they created those things that they did, and it became and displayed their wares in the market, and people bought them, right? But in doing that, we give them some seed funds
Yes.
to start off.
Not just saying go and
No,
start
no.
this,
So
go and
out
start
of,
this.
out of 600 or 1,000 people that were trained in different skills, we selected 100 or 200 people that were given seed money. So this is what I'm saying. In every society, if you don't make such policies and drive those policies down, and it has to be driven by a youth, not when you set up a commission like that, you go and get some guy that's 80 years to manage. No, you got to be a youth of 30 who will drive the stage, because these guys, they're thinking differently from the way we're thinking today, and they're tech savvy. Listen, they can, when even you go agro-based, they can do a lot of things with agro, okay? Deploying technology, deploying skills. We're talking about large-scale farming. They can even do green farming, greenhouse farming.
Yeah.
And in greenhouse farming, you don't need even a large footprint to do a greenhouse, okay? But you produce as much, and even well-controlled environment. You produce as much healthy fruits and agro-based products than you would have done using massive agro-based. Of course, you need to do mechanized farming. But you know what? Get these guys to buy into the future, and it has to be driven by their own people. And what we're saying about intern and return is that even in National Assembly, wherever you have somebody like a 50-year-old guy, you need to bring someone like a 30-year-old guy to understudy him.
Yes.
And in understanding him, you're paying him from the internship fund, okay? That thereafter is either he continues with what he is doing as an intern, or he goes out. By then, he would have made he would have gained knowledge, he would have made contact, he would have had his own network group and all stuff like that. So this is what we're thinking, and this is the way to really, really develop the African youth. And this is what Beirut Foundation is all about, championing for over 17 years. You know, and it's born out of passion. It's about us speaking, because I know that if you don't have a safe environment, you can be as rich as you are, but if your neighbor is not happy, is not hungry, you are unsafe. So create a safe environment by making sure that people are around you. And that's why my role model was Nelson Mandela. And that's why I love his quote. He said, it's not about how long you lived on earth, but how much you have impacted on lives of people. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not about how successful you are. So for me, I think one of the things that I pride myself for is that you don't need to have billions to be a philanthropist, right? I did it, and I found the secret to success. It's giving. And it's not about how much you give. It's about how you're able to get people to have a reset and begin to think differently. So I'm a proponent of that we have to bring our youth forward, both in politics, in all spheres of life, in business, but you need to train them. You need to create funds in everything we do, and we don't carry these young guys along. Someday will come, and they will rise up and get stuff. And you know what? When we had EndSARS in Nigeria, and it was in Lagos, I don't know if you read about EndSARS.
Yes, yes.
By the special grace of God, I'm one of the bourgeois, all right?
Yeah.
In Lagos and Nigeria.
Yeah.
I was so afraid of myself. I was so afraid of everything around me. Because when an eruption like that engulfs, they don't know who's speaking for them. They don't know. It's like you are one of the oppressors. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can become a target that you shouldn't have been. So why don't we nip this situation on the board before it balloons, okay, and out of control? So there was a lot of destruction, and they were going after the rich people. These rich people. And who are these rich people? Could have been a Baywood who had worked all his life, trying to make money legitimately, not being involved in any scam, not being involved in anything that is illicit, okay? And then even giving back to the society. But my dear brother, when a situation like that occurs,
It's indiscriminatory.
it's indiscriminatory.
Because they're not thinking.
Yeah, they're not thinking.
Yeah.
Everybody's a target. And I don't want to be that, because I will regret it. So my position is, the earlier we nip the situation on board, the better for everybody. And together we can make Africa forward and move this nation, this continent, to where we expect it to be. We can't do it. We need these guys. But we need to reorientate their values. We need to reset their values, because the values is completely eroded right now. And in doing so, we need to reorientate ourselves again. Our value system is no more.
Ladies and gentlemen, Emperor Chris Bewood Ibe, thank you very much. This has been one of the most powerful interviews that we've done on the CEO bench. And as we depart from here, question, in a second, tell us a joke.
A joke.
A joke that has ever been given about your name, Emperor, and how you reacted to it, if at all. And give us one African proverb from Nigeria.
Well, I don't know. You see, people think that I just woke up and became emperor. That's okay, no problem. But it's a story for another day. But I always tell you, if you want to know about the emperors, that's a book you need to go and read. It's called God, Pope, and Emperor. So you know the origin of emperor. God, Pope, and Emperor. So,
Yeah.
one thing about this economic reality, and if you want to be an emperor, you have to live up to it, right? You have to live up to it. So, I think I'm living up to my title, emperor, and I make good to say that unless you visit me in Nigeria, you may not know that I'm a true emperor. And I'm a benevolent emperor, because emperors are known for draconian rules and the Gestapo style of doing things. I am not that one. I'm this benevolent emperor. Emperors don't talk about giving back. So I could better be described as a refined emperor who talks for the people, especially the downtrodden and the young people. So that's what I should be remembered. One of the things I want to be remembered for when I'm gone is, how many lives have you touched? It's not how much money I have. No. It's not how much. Are you the biggest billionaire in the world? No. Yes, even if I'm the biggest billionaire, but how much lives have I touched? And that's my prayer, that as God continues to bless us in what we do, we have to leave our footsteps on the sands of times, so that I'll be counted amongst those who help to alleviate poverty. I have to touch lives. And you know what it means to shake a young man who never thought that he could come close to you. That's mentorship, right? And they wouldn't touch you unless you get close to them, right? So you must break that barrier so that they come close to you, make yourself available, that they can come and talk to you. Something happened during the conference in Uganda where I participated. A lot of youths came to me, a lot of young ones, because of my contribution. I couldn't just carry on like Emperor Chris Baywood, but I was ready to mingle. I was ready to talk with them. I was ready to impart this knowledge and get them to be to be appreciated. And you know, they felt so happy that, oh, this guy, so he's accessible. Just a handshake. How are you? How you doing? What are you doing? Blah blah blah. You know, these things, they go a long way to helping and motivate people. So it's why I am a motivational speaker. Put me on the table there, and I'll teach the young lads how to turn things around.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO bench has come to an end. Edio Killer, Emperor Chris Baywood Ibe, all the way from Enugu State in Nigeria, the federal state of Nigeria. We want to say thank you very much. Until next time, we're saying bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Emperor, for coming.
It was like the Psalms. When you look at David, he's passing through hard things, but then he's willing to talk about them. So music allowed me to be real, authentic. To God, he uses song to minister to me. So it was more, it's personal, I can relate to it, and he's helping me overcome through that, to be able to be used as that vessel that delivers this message, which I know that I've just borrowed from heaven. My music statement is to write music that will be able to speak to the heart, soul, and spirit, restoring the goodness. You know, when in the Bible it says, and he looked at it and it was good. The message that I have, there are 10 songs. They will be specifically invoking that God has already said, that we have to embrace as his image, to restore goodness in this world. Music is not what defines you. For me, that was a great revelation, that my identity is more in God, in who God calls me. If I can inspire you also to use your gifts and talents to make a difference, I would have played my part in this world.
I will rise and rise. Now is the time. Rise and praise you, Lord.
My name is Martin Anthony Nsubuga. I'm the CEO of Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority. And I've served the institution until now, where I've grown to the position of the Chief Executive Officer. So I've seen UBRA since its establishment.
I was also the person who started the organization as interim CEO for the organization. My role was to set up the organization, and here we are.
It has been a really new experience in my life. As you may have heard, UBRA was non-existent. There was no formal regulatory environment for pensions or retirement benefits. So we are a pioneer. We were appointed to set up the architecture and the environment for regulation of retirement benefits and pensions.
So the Ministry of Finance, because I was the technical person really handling all these reforms, they asked me to come and set up this institution, which is the Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority. So I was requested to start as interim Chief Executive Officer, which I did from the year 2012 to early 2015. It's been a great journey. When we started from scratch.
The journey of 10 years of UBRA started with an Act of Parliament of 2011, but actual operation started in 2012, and that's why we are celebrating 10 years to date.
There was no institutional setup, there were no laws, there was nothing. So we started with the legal framework, putting in place the legal framework that establishes the supervisor or the regulator for the retirement benefits sector. Before then,
UBRA came into the market about 10 years ago. The first thing they did, right from their first offices at Communications House, was to take stock of the market. Who are the players? Who are the retirement players in the market? Who are the service providers? Which schemes are operating in the market? Service to note that there was already something happening in the market, even before UBRA came to play.
And because of that, there were Ponzi schemes, there were frauds and all those kind of things. There was no trust in the sector. So our primary objective was to build a system that would instill confidence in the general public.
I believe the journey has been very successful. We have a footprint now in the community, and that footprint is best exemplified by the growth of the pensions sector. As when we were appointed, the pension sector savings were less than 5 trillion. Today they're approaching 20 trillion.
A number of proposals were carried to Parliament, and the biggest one was to actually put in place a sector regulator.
My role as a Member of Parliament when I came in 2001 was to make legislation. And one of the laws we have made is the UBRA Act, which basically came in to assist how to regulate the retirement pension funds, which were missing in this country. I'm proud that now we have over 19 trillion shillings in the pension fund. That's a very good contributor to national development. And in the future, I'm sure this money we shall not go to borrow. We shall use this money of the pension fund to really develop our country.
You'd appreciate that this is not a small contribution for a sector that was not regulated. But overall, it was part of the global reforms that we are seeing in other countries in the pension sector.
To me, that's a plus for the authority.
And you can imagine in a very short time, in less than 10 years, we have over 19 trillion. It believes that within the next 5 years, we should be over 40 trillion.
To me, that is a plus for UBRA and a surety for the people of Uganda who save with these different schemes, knowing that somebody is there making sure that my money that I put in any scheme is safe, is protected.
So one of the main objectives was to safeguard the interests of the members. Now, what this means is that the moment members' interests are safeguarded, their rights are protected, it then boils down to growth of the sector. Now, what we've seen in the last 10 years is that the sector, the assets under management have more than tripled. So within a span of 10 years, we're seeing a lot of efficiency in terms of members are able to get their benefits, they're able to access more information about their schemes. More importantly is the professionalism that has been injected in the sector.
There has been a deliberate effort to build trust because the foundation is strong, it can be trusted. And again, the investment structures are very solid, so which means they encourage the growth of the market, the growth of the portfolio, and also provide the positive returns that we see to date.
The last one that is significant, which I've seen UBRA doing, is promoting transparency. So to a member, that information creates trust within the member because you are saying, there's nothing I'm hiding. This is how we run the scheme in the year. There were 13 meetings and this member of the board, out of 13, he attended 3.
In the saving schemes, there was no trust, there was no confidence, there was a lot of risk. Even the savers could not know how much their contributions were. Okay? In other words, everything was in a disarray without any regulator.
I think as well, looking generally at the business environment, you rarely now see complaints of people stating that the funds that they thought they had in their names have disappeared or have been paid to the wrong person. And all this is just because of the supervisory role that UBRA has brought in, which has been pivotal in making us run a world-class pension sector in Uganda.
There are 3 parts to any pension system. There's the contributions or collections of pensions, there is the management of the pensions or the investment of these pension savings, and then there's the payment of these pension savings, either through a lump sum or through monthly payments. We have had a shared responsibility with UBRA for the past 10 years in the aspect of management of the savings through investment.
More importantly is to say that the journey that UBRA has walked over the 10 years have been challenging but also refreshing, in a sense that they came into a virgin market. There was no regulator before them, especially in the pension sector. So what they started with was commendable. Let's do a stock taking. Let's understand the market. Who is doing what in the market? So I think that phase helped UBRA create the visibility, create identity for the first 3-4 years. Over the years, they've also been able to do publicity to kind of show the market, show the public that this is what we do, and especially as you plan for your retirement.
At least for the last 10 years, we've not had any corruption, loss of members' funds. We've also not had any poor investments, because investments are all known, structured, in particular known asset classes that provide a very good return to the member. And actually in this period in time, that's when the sector has witnessed high returns to the members, double-digit returns for the last 5 years or thereabout.
So, in my opinion, that is trust from the general public that we are doing the right thing, and we hope that we continue to do that.
In the next 10 years, what I would like to really see going forward is the spread of coverage, because the pension sector as it is now is really in the formal sector. And when you look at the working population of Uganda, if you even put it at around 20 to 25 million, the working population, not even 3 million are covered by pensions.
I think my main message to UBRA is, first of all, to thank the CEO, Mr. Martin Nsubuga, and his team for supporting the pension reforms that have taken place so far, but also to remind the team that there's still some work to be done. It's not over, there's still some reforms that need to be done, particularly in the area of limiting access to long-term savings. So Martin and team, please don't rest. There's still some more work to be done to grow the domestic savings base of this country.
We feel that as a committee, UBRA needs to make itself more visible in Uganda, place itself, let the people of Uganda know what they're doing, let the people of Uganda know why they should save for retirement.
If you were to ask me, what should UBRA's next 10 years focus on? I would say that UBRA's next 10 years should be to now build this 20 trillion asset base that has been generated, should actually be able to ensure a comfortable life in retirement for all members who are in the retirement schemes. But UBRA should also then allow and come up with mechanisms to support the players to be able to onboard all the smallholders, all the informal sector to come in and secure their retirement by participating and joining the licensed pension schemes in the market.
And so my thinking is that we need to support the institution, particularly Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, needs to support resource mobilization for allocation to the authority so that the authority can continue with the widening the coverage.
People now, instead of keeping money in boxes, will keep here, and it is in the financial sector, and it's easy to tap in. And the cost of money will go down, but our investment in the country will go high. And I can tell you, if we make very good regulations, we will have the support of Parliament.
I believe that the next 10 years are quite pivotal. We've gone through the best building of the industry, and right now we are at the point where we have to be tasked with generating value for our clients and exhibiting relevance over the next 10 years. I'm very, very confident. In fact, I'm really proud of the work that has been done for the last 10 years, and my imagination runs wild. What is possible for the next 10 years?
And the other key achievement that or work in progress that UBRA is trying to do, which I again encourage different stakeholders in this sector, particularly Parliament, to support UBRA, is the coming up with a national micro pension scheme. Uganda is our economy is largely informal, and even within the cities we have so many people who are operating informally, and yet they earn income, either daily, either weekly or monthly. They earn income in one way or the other. But if not well guided, and I think this particular scheme, the micro pension scheme, would again help reorganize our people in the formal sector to put something aside. Because if you are in our market today, if you're a road vendor today, if you're a hawker today, if you're a border today, if you're a fisherman today, you still have that energy to go nearly every day in the waters and do fishing, to go to Nakawa market every morning to pick tomatoes, vegetables. But that strength with time, as years come by, begins to dwindle. That means the same basket that you can carry now, you are not able to carry in the next 5 years or 10.
So our focus, what really keeps us awake when I wake up in the morning, that drives my day, protection of members' funds.
So what I see going forward for the next 10 years is an organization that is efficient, that is creating value for the benefits. Efficiency meaning when I contribute, I must be guaranteed that 20 years from now, 30 years from now, when I retire, my money will be there. And ensuring that the monies that I contribute are invested in assets that will make my money grow. Not just putting in 1 shilling, and 20 years, you're paid 1 shilling. When I put in 1 shilling, I should be paid 100 shillings at the end of 30 years. And that's the objective, and that's efficiency.
I think to the customer out there, who might not even think they're a customer because you ride a border, you are in the garden, you don't even have anything to your name, UBRA will find you wherever you are and will look after you, because it's their mandate to look after you in retirement. And they can only look after you in retirement if you avail yourself now. And all they want to do for you is to make sure that when you hang up your boots, when I hang up this jacket in retirement, UBRA wants me to live a fulfilled life, a life bereft of poverty, a life of joy and happiness. And UBRA works with people and different entities to deliver that. As service providers, I think we'd want to say congratulations again, UBRA. We feel the heat sometimes, but we are ready for the task.
As we celebrate, let's also remember that there are those who are not yet part of the saving culture, and we find ways of bringing them forward. I wish you a happy celebration.
As we celebrate 10 years of service protecting retirement benefits in this country, allow me to thank the Board of Directors of Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority. You have been very instrumental and very focused. Allow me also to thank the staff and management of UBRA. You have supported the cause. Allow me also to thank my predecessors, the first interim CEO, Mr. Moses Bekavio, the Chief Executive Officer, my immediate predecessor, Mr. Bonyi David Nyakundi, the government of Uganda, who have supported us, providing us with all the resources that we need from the day UBRA started up to now, the regulated entities, the stakeholders, the fund managers, the custodians, the administrators. Without you, we would not be talking of structures of governance in this market. And of course, the members who are saving, who have trusted us, who have continuously saved with the different schemes. Allow me to assure you that as we deliberate on this direction for the next years of service, at UBRA, we shall continue to protect your retirement benefits. May God bless you. May God bless your families. May God bless our country, Uganda. Let us celebrate as we thank God.
Hello, viewers. You're most welcome to this show. This is the ATC Uganda studio, and with me, I have Mark Triamreba, who is the head of security, legal, and public affairs at ATC. This morning, we had a training about communication. Communication is quite wide as a facet, but I would like Mark to discuss with us or share with us why this particular communication section was held, why the particular team is chose, and what his learnings were during the session. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Stella, and good afternoon to our viewers. Yes, so today we spent our morning and mid-afternoon being trained as an executive team of ATC Uganda Limited. As you are aware, the executive team is the team that leads the business in Uganda. And as we grow as a business, we felt it's relevant to equip the business executives who speak on behalf of the company with how they relate with the media. The media is a very important stakeholder for ATC Uganda. And we felt that by giving our executives the necessary skills or the skill set to interact with the media, it would also go a long way in building our relationships with the media, but also building the ATC brand. Among the key takeaways from today's session were what are the tenets, the basic tenets of communication. How do we ensure that as a company, that as leaders of the company, we're all singing from the same hymn sheet. Our message is uniform. Our message can easily be understood, right? Our message is easy to understand, and our message reaches the intended recipients. I think most times people craft these beautiful messages, these beautiful strategies, but the intended recipient does not end up understanding or receiving what it is we are trying to communicate to them. So I think the training today has helped us understand what it is as a company we need to do to ensure that our message reaches the right audience and it is well articulated and understood.
Thank you, Mark. I did some research before this session and got to understand that ATC is business to business. Why are you interested in going into the media?
It's true. ATC is a B2B, and our customers consist of the mobile network operators as well as the wireless service providers in the country. So we typically do not have any interaction with the final consumer, or in this case, the mobile subscriber. However, as a company, we have grown in leaps and bounds over the last 3 to 4 years. In 2019, we acquired an existing company in the market, and that doubled our size overnight. Prior to the acquisition, we had about 1,500 towers, and as I speak today, we have close to 4,400 towers. With our market size and the fact that our customers are demanding and constantly demanding us to improve and innovate, communication is key for us as a leadership team. How do you communicate with your customer? How do you communicate with the stakeholders, right? We have many stakeholders now. We have the government of Uganda, we have the regulator, we have the tax authority, and because of the market size, our tax contribution to the country, we're always engaging with these stakeholders. So communication is one of the key ways through which you engage and get your message across to the stakeholder. So that's why we decided that we need this training.
Well articulated, Mark. From your experience, how do you intend to apply the skills you've been able to pick up this morning?
Yeah, good question. I think for us, the task now is to go and relook at our communication strategy, right? We've been communicating, but have we been communicating effectively? Has the message reached the intended recipient? So we'll do a deep dive. We'll do some data analytics to find out what people think about us, whether they're understanding what we're communicating to them. We also need to improve our internal communication within the business. I think one of the learnings that I took from Eddie earlier in this morning, he was like, he said that information is segmented and layered, right? What is at the top? In most companies, information stays at the top. It might trickle down to middle management, but what I'd call the frontliners or the foot soldiers barely get any communication that cascades down to them. And yet, for you to have a clear and effective communication strategy, the entire business must understand what it is we're trying to achieve and where it is we're trying to go. So I think for us, it's just to, first of all, to relook at our current strategy. Is it working? And apply some of the takeaways that we've taken from today's training.
Thank you, Mark. As we close, do you have any closing remarks for the viewers?
Yeah, so as ATC, we are committed to transform Uganda's telecommunication sector. We are committed to continue to invest in expanding telecom infrastructure in the country sustainably and ethically. We will try to continue to engage with our stakeholders, and will continue to support government of Uganda as it seeks to move our country to the middle income status.
Thank you very much, Mark, for your time and for being articulate. I remain Stella Sekweyama at ATC Uganda Studios. Thank you.
Bonjour and bienvenue at Job Fair aujourd'hui. Welcome, bienvenue at Job Fair aujourd'hui. Today, aujourd'hui c'est le day for speaking French, so make sure you speak some French before you go.
And I'd like to acknowledge the presence of all of you and welcome you to our Job Fair.
Bonjour à tous. I'm called Elvis Bejuka, and I'm glad to be here. I would really like to thank the young graduates here and all those looking for jobs for coming to this fair. And I also like to thank whoever organized it, the French companies, for being here. It's really great.
And I take the opportunity already to thank all the organization from Alliance Française, from Campus France, from the CAC, so all my dear colleagues, French colleagues, that have managed to organize this event, and Total Energy is very proud to be part of this event.
Our embassy calls for the reinforcement of the Ugandan-French linguistic cooperation to contribute to the Ugandan regional integration.
My name is Mary Nambi. I work with NG Energy Access as a human resource business partner. I'm happy to be here seeing young people that are aspiring to join the different fields and that are starting their career. Others are in the mid-level of their career.
So I welcome you all to the first edition of the Job Fair, which we hope is not going to be the last, and I know it won't be. The aim of this event is to bring together Ugandan students and young workers with French and international companies. The need to bring together French and employability in Uganda in this event is due to the fact that French has become an official language in the East African community.
France wants more Ugandan students to France. This is why we're here, and that's what is our mission here in Kampala. Of course, France is a land of opportunities in terms of professional.
People at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Remember Prince?
Yes.
My name is Emmanuel Mwaka. I work as the Chief Executive Officer of ICLI on Life Assurance. I also wear the hat as the Executive Director for ICA Lion Asset Management. Initially, in the formative stages of UBRA, Emmanuel was in the background doing something in the financial services space, providing a few insights. So I have seen the baby, the toddler, and this is a toddler like none other that has grown significantly. I'm an FCCA, that means I'm a chartered accountant with the ACCA in the UK. I'm also an accountant registered with the ICPAU in Uganda. On top of all that, I also hold a master's degree from Heriot-Watt University in the UK, having studied my bachelor's in development economics at Makerere University in Kampala. How I wished UBRA was birthed earlier than it was birthed, because going back a bit in the late 80s, the financial sector reforms that significantly impeded the growth of the pensions sector and the overall financial market maybe would have been handled better with a regulatory authority like UBRA, specifically looking out for the interests of pensioners and those that are in the process of preparing for retirement. The 10 years that I have interacted with UBRA in various capacities have been 10 years of steady growth. Growth as an individual, growth as the organization that I lead, and growth generally for the industry. With the coming in of UBRA, we could now see, and we are now confident, that there is supervision and there is additional professionalism in the running of pension schemes, straight up from the NSSF to the other smaller players that are in the private pension scheme space. I would say that it almost goes without saying that if you're to look at the last 10 years and compare the performance of pension schemes in comparison to the previous 10 years before then, you would realize that actually on average there could be more than double growth generally over the two 10-year periods. And the reason for that definitely is the missing piece in the puzzle that UBRA was, to bring in professionalism by encouraging certification, making sure that all the players meet certain basic minimum benchmarks that of course have brought in the things that you see today where people retire and they don't have to line up in any pension scheme places. All they have to do is submit their required documentation, and within 2-3 days a week, they already have their funds. This was totally unheard of in the past. And I would say that it's in no way singularly a role that has been played by the players in the market, but it's also testament to the fact that the benchmarks that the regulator has set for us as players in this market have allowed us to step up, to go a notch higher and provide the service that we must provide for our customers. And the customers in this case are retirees or those that will be moving and changing employment. I think as well, looking generally at the business environment, you rarely now see complaints of people stating that the funds that they thought they had in their names have disappeared or have been paid to the wrong person. And all this is just because of the supervisory role that UBRA has brought in, which has been pivotal in making us run a world-class pension sector in Uganda. So as Emmanuel, I think I see the next 10 years as redefining for UBRA, and I speak in my capacity as a customer of UBRA, from the small fund that I have to my name with the nation's main fund, NSSF. I speak as well as a private customer with the fund that I have from my employer, ICA Lion, but I also speak in my capacity as an administrator and to an extent as a fund manager. I think the next 10 years are going to be very pivotal for UBRA because we are almost inching towards the 20 trillion asset mark in the pensions sector. That's very significant when you compare that and you consider the size of the GDP of this country. But you also realize that where we are going, I think there is opportunity for us to venture into the triple Ps, that's the public-private partnerships, and the pension sector provides the required assets to actually finance government initiatives, which we will all enjoy. You know, the better road network, talk about hospitals, healthcare, name it. UBRA has a very key role to actually guide the discussion in that direction. And I think the more UBRA takes its role in making sure that the discourse around patient capital is driven and they're part of that discussion, I think we will go to the next level. I would also say that looking generally at the growth in the economy, naturally with the inflationary movements, I think UBRA's role also in ensuring and working with fund managers, with trustees, with custodians, and training them to ensure that the growth in most funds has by far exceeded the inflationary environment. I would expect that we will actually see UBRA achieving its mandate of ensuring that at the end of the period, you have members who have wealth that has been grown and built over time, and they can be able to afford a very decent retirement. Because at the end of the day, I think UBRA's mandate will be tested by the amount or the number of retirees who are living in poverty or who are excelling. And I think then that if we can come up with that yardstick and we just measure the level of poverty in retirement for mostly those that have been in formal employment and those that are now being attracted through the smaller schemes to join formal saving arrangements, even when they are in the informal sector, I think that would be the best yardstick to say, UBRA, I think this is the target that we need to drive at. As ICEA Lion Life, I think we are working and we've shared ideas with UBRA and specifically to get rid of retirement and old age poverty. We've worked with UBRA to launch one of the only annuity schemes for retirees, incidentally with the first licensed pension scheme, that is Makerere University Retirement Benefit Scheme, where we launched an annuity plan for members who are retiring to actually purchase lifetime income. Now, retirement is synonymous with wondering what to do, but at the very least, with the guidance and with joining hands with UBRA, we now have an annuity solution then that allows retirees to never work any other day in their life, but still have an income and credited to their bank accounts every month. Now tell me if that would not get rid of old age poverty, and tell me if that will not also get rid of retirees gambling on projects that they've never done in their work life, or wondering what to do with money they've never touched in one go, but just simply because they've built it up over 30 years and now they have it and they don't know what to do. And of course, as you very well know, I think the wealthier an economy gets, the wealth is distributed to people. Unfortunately, the sharper the fraudsters get. So retirees now are the biggest culprits of get-rich-quick schemes, which actually get them poorer and have them leave retirement in absolute poverty. So if you were to ask me, what should UBRA's next 10 years focus on? I would say that UBRA's next 10 years should be to now build this 20 trillion asset base that has been generated, should actually be able to ensure a comfortable life in retirement for all members who are in the retirement schemes. But UBRA should also then allow and come up with mechanisms to support the players to be able to onboard all the smallholders, all the informal sector to come in and secure their retirement by participating and joining the licensed pension schemes in the market. Many, many, many congratulations, UBRA. I think as ICA Lion Group, we are very proud of the feat that you've attained. We are very happy that we've been part of this story, and we know we will continue to be part of this growth story that you have that you've attained as UBRA. I must say, of course, that as well as ICA Lion, we actually also actively participate in the growth of UBRA in the work that it does through the schemes that we run. But from the board and management of ICA Lion Group, many congratulations. UBRA, you have 10 more years to shine, and another 10 after that, and another 10 after that. And we believe that you are only going to get better, and you're only going to serve us, your customers, your service providers even better. I think to the customer out there who might not even think they are a customer because you ride a boda, you are in the garden, you don't even have anything to your name, UBRA will find you wherever you are and will look after you, because it's their mandate to look after you in retirement. And they can only look after you in retirement if you avail yourself now, when you have the earning power, when you have the muscle to till that land, when you have the ability to ride that boda boda. This is the time when Ubra needs you the most, so that Ubra then will assure you of looking after you when you cannot ride that boda boda anymore when you're in your retirement. But for you to do that, simply reach out to Ubra. They do a lot of drives, and I'm sure they'll be able to get to you. As service providers, I think we'd want to say congratulations again, Ubra. We feel the heat sometimes because you want us to do better and more, but we are ready for the task. And I think it's only for the better of the industry, for the protection of the members' funds, and we are ready and willing to even go beyond the call of duty that you set for us. This is a journey. This is one of those marriages that we know will be long-term. We are joined at the hip because we have the same clientele. So this is my commitment to you that we will walk this journey together. We will do that which you require of us, and we will as well point you in the directions that we think we need to go as we build the industry together. I think my message to the government as well is Ubra, like any other baby who is 10 years old, actually like any other 10-year-old adult, requires a lot of nurturing, requires a lot of support. But above all, I think government is the biggest spender in any economy. I think the expenditure of government is critical to the growth of Ubra. I think it's high time that the pension schemes, the defined fund that is run through public service, is given sight through Ubra as well, so that Ubra can, in a way, revitalize the public service pension scheme in such a way that it would make sense to the members, to the civil servants, even when they retire, so that they can get a bit more as their take home every month in retirement and for longer. I think to the government, I think we are tired of seeing people changing their ages. Just work a little more. I think if they had the guarantee that Ubra would provide, that in retirement, this is what you will be getting, and as a regulator, we will see to it that you receive this, then I think we will also have a bit more room for the younger generation to join the working ranks and possibly add better value to the running processes of the government as a whole. But above all, I think it will allow us to get rid of old age poverty. And I think for me, for the rest of the regulators and for those that then work with Ubra, I would almost speak on their behalf and say that, we are very proud of the child that was born 10 years ago and is now an adult and has achieved all these milestones, has enabled professionalism to get into a sector that was bereft of confidence, has built confidence across board in a sector which is very pivotal. And I'd almost say that we know that we can only get better with Ubra, and we know for a fact that Ubra, with the resources that it has, with the people that it carries with it, will lead us to the promised land. And the promised land, of course, is for us to see that we get rid of old age poverty. So that would be my message. And again, many congratulations, Ubra. My name is Emmanuel Mwaka. I work with ICLI on Life Assurance as the Chief Executive Officer. I also work with the asset management company in ICA as the Executive Director. I wear a few other hats within the insurance industry. I am currently the Treasurer of the Ugandan Insurers Association. I also chair the Life and Pensions Committee of the Ugandan Insurers Association. Emmanuel has been in the financial services sector for over 13 years. Emmanuel has seen and been a part of the process of the birth of Ubra to an extent, and has been there from the time Ubra was effectively birthed, and has seen Ubra, or has worked with Ubra in various capacities to see the Ubra that we are celebrating today. And on that note, I'd want to wish Ubra a very merry celebration. Many, many, many congratulations. I would almost say that I think the president of Uganda must have talked about the middle income status that we've gotten in, thanks to the efforts of Ubra as well in garnering the funds that we have, close to 20 trillion. I'd want to wish Ugandans well. Ubra is an entity to trust. Ubra is an entity that is looking out for you in whichever capacity that you're in, whether you're like me who puts on a suit, or you're out there in the garden or riding your boda boda, there is an entity called Ubra that looks out for you. And all they want to do for you is to make sure that when you hang up your boots, when I hang up this jacket in retirement, Ubra wants me to live a fulfilled life, a life bereft of poverty, a life of joy and happiness. And Ubra works with people and different entities to deliver that. So I'd want to congratulate Ubra again, and I know we will carry along all the retirees with us, those that are there right now and those that are in the process of getting into retirement. Again, let's trust Ubra. They're trustworthy. They've seen us grow, and they'll see us get to a higher level.
This Africa is Talking Summit 2024 has actually been of great impact to African development, because this is a tech summit where young developers in our developer ecosystem have had a chance to interact and learn from the industry experts who actually understand where the development in technology, especially in Africa, is headed. So it's presented them an opportunity to now go back and build solutions that they've actually identified the gaps during this summit in technology. These solutions will be brought to the marketplace, and they'll be able to now solve a lot of these problems that we experience in Africa.
This summit has really been amazing, just looking at how it has brought people from different organizations, different backgrounds, just coming together to create new ideas, build new technology for Africa. That alone shows that we are working towards the best, and I am looking forward to what is to come.
For me, it's about answering the needs of Africa. And as Africa is talking, we are trying to support the innovations that will answer this problem. So we are at the point where we are positioning ourselves to help developers to be able to innovate to solve those problems. So this summit has brought together experts from different fields, different countries, and different expertise. So it's been a very engaging session where we have experts, we have people who are learning, a lot of networking, a lot of exchanges, and yeah, it's been amazing.
So I believe the Summit 2025 is a place to start and encourage the young people, the people at the lowest stage, to grow and build for Africa.
I know definitely it may not be in Uganda, but it will bring together a bigger group of developers and industry experts and even business leaders and entrepreneurs.
I think the tech industry is going to grow huge. I think in the next 5-10 years, we are going to have amazing stuff. We are going to have things that we have not seen before. And I'm really excited because I am seeing what the young minds are coming up with.
So just based on how this 2024 summit has been, I can't wait. I know it will be bigger, it will be better, and it can only get better from here. And we are looking forward to even bringing in more experts, more developers, more partners, more customers in the next session. So you should plan to be there.
Basically, innovating for Africa means that we are coming up with new ideas to make Africa better in the future.
As Africa's Talking, we are looking at innovating around just answering to the needs of the people of Africa and ensuring that Africa is growing to where it needs to be.
To me, I look at it from an opportunity because with the software engineering, they have ability to really build solutions that will innovate Africa.
Hello, viewers. You're most welcome to this show. This is the 8th.
An army of sheep led by a lion will beat an army of lions led by a sheep. That's a fake. Yeah. So let's be very honest about this thing, and really understand that you need to understand where you lie and where you fall. So it's very important for us to understand that leadership has to be definitive. You can't be laissez-faire. It has to be definitive. You have to be strong, just like a lion. You know, when a lion meets an elephant or a buffalo or whatever, the buffalo and all these animals run away. And yet, by the way, they are stronger than the lion. They are heavier than the lion. They are more intelligent than the lion. They are taller than the lion. They run away. The lion, because of its attitude, it sees lunch. That is a leader.
Mr. Donald Trump, thank you very much for coming to